Good afternoon and welcome, friends and family, to the 46th Annual Mount Desert Island High School Graduation Ceremony. Before we go any further, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I'd like to start today's activities by expressing how lucky I am to have the pleasure to call this island, and more specifically this school, my home. There are many reasons that MDI is such a special place, but for me, the people are at the top of the list. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about these very people. First, I don't think we can fully appreciate how unique the level of support and engagement we have from our community is. It is a gift to partner with experts from renowned organizations, including the College of the Atlantic, Acadia National Park, the Jackson Lab, and the MDI Biolab, just to name a few. It's also amazing to witness the continued financial support that our community provides us. Local businesses generously provide our students with needs that arise. Donors provide for hundreds of thousands of dollars in local scholarships, and over 100 community members serve as mentors for senior exhibition projects every year. We speak now to the families of our students, particularly of those who are graduating today. You've raised amazing young men and women, and that does not happen by accident. Thank you for all the love, patience, and time you have given to them. Thank you also for trusting us to guide them through their high school years. MDI High School is blessed with a tremendous faculty and staff who give endlessly of their passion, energy, and wisdom. No school, whatever other traits it may have, can be successful without top quality people coming to work every day. We are all indebted to these dedicated professionals. This year, we were fortunate to be joined by 4 new faculty members. These individuals have each put their own mark on MDI High School and have made it a better place for students. The new faculty member at MDI High School this year are Dawn Burgess, Mark Carrigan, Julie Kablinski, and Michael Reamy. "2014 will also see us bid farewell to 5 outstanding educators. We wish them well with their future endeavors. Let's say thank you to Susan Boudreau, Aaron Hansen, Amber Sharon, Carrie Jameson, and Don Greco. We aren't quite finished with him yet. You'll hear from him in a minute. Without engaged, curious, motivated, and talented students, what would a school be? The students that attend MDI High School are unquestionably its greatest asset. The class of 2014 is an inviting, caring collection of individuals who truly look out for one another. They're also an extremely talented group in the classroom, on the athletic field, and in the visual and performing arts. There's always a risk in attempting to list achievements for fear of forgetting something. With that said, I'm going to give it a shot anyway, just to share a sense of the myriad accomplishments this class has managed. 5 National Merit Scholarship finalists. It's a long list. Outstanding performance on AP exams, far beyond the levels of typical high schools. A redesigned student council with expanded membership and increased responsibility. There you go. The creation of several new, exciting co-curricular activities. More than ever before, in-depth and rigorous senior exhibitions. Students at Hancock County Technical Center have achieved Skills USA competition medals, membership in the National Technical Honor Society, and multiple certifications, and more importantly, marketable skills. When it comes to extra and co-curricular activities, the list of championships is long. Three show choir state championships, 3 cross-country state championships, 3 swim state championships, 3 one-act regional festival championships, 1 basketball Eastern Maine championship, 1 tennis Eastern Maine championship, many individual and relay state championship performances, a 1,000-point scorer. While we're talking about the students, is there a better group of students to represent MDI than the band? As you may know, this is the final year that MDI High School will feature traditional honor parts at graduation. The class of 2014 boasts co-valedictorians. I cannot think of 2 more deserving students to usher out the honor part era. The co-valedictorians achieved grade point averages of 3.987 in an extremely rigorous course of study, which translates to, with the exception of 1 A- A's in every class. Coincidentally, these young ladies share more than a GPA. Isabel Erickson is the daughter of Susan Murphy and Jeff Erickson of Bar Harbor. She plans to attend Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, majoring in biochemistry and pre-med. As a high school student, Isabel has been a member of National Honor Society and National Art Honor Society. Isabel is also a standout athlete, captaining the outdoor track and field team and helping to lead the way with 3 state champion swim and 3 state champion cross-country teams. Isabel, please come to the stage and receive a token of our appreciation. Olivia Erickson is the daughter of Susan Murphy and Jeff Erickson of Bar Harbor. She plans to attend Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine, majoring in government or neuroscience. Olivia enhanced her science education this year through an internship at the Jackson Lab. She's a member of the National Honor Society and the treasurer for the National Art Honor Society. Olivia is an accomplished athlete. She's a captain on the outdoor track and field team and played key roles in the 6 state championships won by the girls' cross-country and swim teams. Congratulations, Olivia. Please come and accept our sincere thanks. The next student I'd like to introduce is our senior class president. Sean Bollier will be introducing this afternoon's class speaker. Sean is a son of Jean and Margaret Bollier and has lived on MDI his whole life. He grew up and lives in Bernard. Over the past 4 years at MDIHS, he's participated in every aspect of the music program, was a member of the sailing, soccer, and swim teams, and member of the National Honor Society. He is president of the senior class. Sean also enjoys skiing, sailing, surfing, and playing instruments of any kind. He'll be working as a sailing instructor at the MDI Community Sailing Center this summer and attending Salve Regina University this fall to pursue a degree in music education. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Haney. Don Greco was the first teacher that I ever met at MDI High School. To be honest, on incoming freshman night, I was pretty freaked out. He seemed pretty crazy to a closed-minded middle schooler. But after getting to know him better, I realized what an incredible person he was and continues to be. In 2002, he created a free body sculpting class for teachers. He's been instrumental in the Jackson Lab internship program for students. He's choreographed countless state championship show choirs. All of this on top of being a phenomenal teacher during his 19 years here at MDI. I'm proud to call Mr. Greco an advisor, a mentor, an artistic colleague, and a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Donald Greco.
Good afternoon and welcome to all of you. Before I get started, I need to have a disclaimer here because Sean gave a speech to the student body on Thursday, and I sat there and listened to the speech, and as he was giving it, it was my speech. I mean, not only was the theme the same, but there were examples that are the same, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you know Carl Jung's idea of synchronicity, when two kind of ideas merge at the same time, that it's meant to be. Some of you are going to hear the speech for the second time. Sorry, guys. But I could say, Sean, you're probably a man far beyond his years in wisdom, or I'm still in my adolescence. So, anyway, we've all gathered here in this crowded and warm gymnasium to honor the graduates of 2014 of this amazing school. They've successfully completed all of their high school requirements. You guys are the reasons that we're here, and as well as this conglomeration of humanity. I'm honored and humbled to have been chosen to speak in this event, but please keep in mind that my primary mode of communication is movement and dance. All right. I would like to take you guys back to the 9th grade, just like Sean did. When you entered this building, and I remember meeting my little advisees. They were so sweet and gentle, and I was really amazed, but there's been an incredible change since then. You remember what evolution is in biology? Change over time? Boy, did I witness that. When I got to know my advisees, they proved to be a real challenge for me. So much unbridled energy, I couldn't contain them. Do you remember that? I called you the hellions of chaos. Our advisory period would be filled with girls screaming, mock wrestling, and when I looked up at the ceiling, it was decorated with sharp pencils dangling like stalactites. It was so bad that I had to call in the big guns, Pam Bush. Vice principal at the time, I wanted her to talk to these unruly kids. I finally decided to set up my flip camera, unbeknownst to them, and to video them in action. I mean, I wanted them to see exactly how they were acting. I never did show it to them back then, but I did show it to them about a month ago. Their comments were mostly about the physical changes they could see in each other's bodies, mainly because of puberty. But what I could see was this incredible shift to mature, sensitive, and loving young men and women. Their change over time was really quite astounding. And I've seen this happen here at the school about 19 times now. This evolution continues, and you'll see it happen again in the coming years as you go through college or start a job or do that gap year thing. I remember my own personal evolution when I went to college. The University of Massachusetts, or as it was called back then, ZooMass. Its reputation was that of a party school, and I certainly tested that out. But I do want to tell you that I was a good high schooler who was taught by the Sisters of St. Joseph. I did everything that was asked and expected of me, all under the guidance and control of my rather strict father. So I went off to the university. No one was there to tell me when to get up. No one was there to tell me to go to classes, and no one was there to say, don't drink those slow gin fizzes. I discovered what partying was, and I liked it. So my father received my mid-semester grades in the mail, and he called me on the phone to discuss it. Dawn, he said. Yes, Dad? I was still going through puberty. Got your grades in the mail. Yes, Dad? What's this GPA thing? See, in high school we got percents, not GPA. Dad, it's called my grade point average. Oh? Says here you have a 0.9 GPA. This is out of a 1.0, isn't it? No, Dad, it's out of a 4.0. Really, he replied. Okay. So, at this point I was expected to be reprimanded with some very strong language. I scrunched my face, braced myself, and he said, well, are you going to do something about it? Yes, Dad, I said. And then he said, well, son, it's all up to you now. I'll never forget those words. They were spoken gently, compassionately. They were his way of letting go and telling me I had to do it. He was no longer surveilling my life. I was grateful to hear these words, but at the same time terrified by the implications. I knew I had the tools from my schooling and upbringing, but I needed to find the confidence and strength that I could do it on my own. By the way, I did bring up my GPA. So graduates, it's all up to you now. And parents and guardians, you are now in that process of letting go, and I know this must be difficult and scary. So graduates, would you please help them through the process? Call home often, give updates. You can use Facebook, Twitter, FaceTime, Skype, texting. Does anybody write letters anymore? You have a lot of options there, guys. In your life after high school, your evolution will be determined by your choices. I ask you to open yourself to the experience and allow explorations of interests. Don't cling to what you think you should do for a career. You know, I started college thinking I was going to be an actor. Well, that didn't work out. But I did like animals, so I became a zoology major. But then I missed plants, so I became a botany major. But then, where were the animals? Well, in the end, I simply became a wildlife biology major. And I also noticed that I liked helping fellow students understand what their professors were trying to teach them, so a minor in education was in order. And then I found myself boogieing on the dance floor a lot on the weekends. So, you too may find yourself wandering from one interest to the next, but you'll settle on one in the end, and your career will evolve just like you. And who knows, maybe you could combine all of those interests, and I don't know, maybe you could be like a acting, dancing biology teacher. And don't think for 1 minute that you can't do something you love, because, okay, I have a story to tell you. About 20 years ago, I was doing a workshop at the Bates Dance Festival with a dance company called Axis Dance. It's an unusual company because it's comprised of enabled and disabled dancers, some in wheelchairs, some in braces with crutches, others fully able. They're amazing in performance. But back to the story. So, I was paired up with another student taking the workshop. She was a small, young, 20-year-old woman who had been in a wheelchair for most of her life. In our conversation, I asked her what she was studying in college. Her answer, I'm going to be a dance teacher. I didn't know what to say. You know, there was this like clumsy, awkward moment of silence. I mean, the inconceivable was slammed right in front of me. And then a thoughtless question just blurted out to me. But how? She looked at me, smiled, and then she asked me a question. What is dance? She said. You know, I don't quite remember my exact response. I think it had something to do with technique, choreography, moving through space, something like that. She looked at me again and smiled more. No, go deeper, she said. Deeper? She saw I was struggling, and she came to my rescue with this answer. Dance is simply a joyful expression of the human spirit. Whoa. Here is this 20-year-old telling this 42-year-old what the real meaning of dance is. And I know that somewhere there is this fantastic dance teacher in a wheelchair teaching dance. Her studies and experiences would give her the tools with which to make it happen. But it was her choice to pursue, to open herself to the possibility and evolve that would let this dream come true. Don't let the inconceivable stop you from pursuing your dreams. You know, such a resulting career will make you ask this question, what is this? When you get your paycheck, you'll say, oh my God, that's right, I get paid for this. Open yourself to the experience of new possibilities, even the inconceivable ones. You know, we all do this by making choices with something we call awareness. Now, how do I know if a choice is good or bad? You know, whatever we do, whatever we choose has consequences, and not just for us. They do affect the immediate people around us, but they in turn affect the people around them, that affects the people around them, etc. Do you remember the biology food web? right? And how that whole web is affected by the removal of a single organism because of the interconnectedness of it all. And so it is with your choices, all of them, no matter how seemingly small or insignificant. A good example of this is the pay it forward principle, right, Sean? When good is done to you, you in turn do good for someone else, and then you ask that person to do good for the next person. It ripples forward through this web with good, positive energy. And oh yeah, it can also work in reverse and have the negative ripple effect. We're constantly reminded of this, of course, in our news headlines. Think of keeping this awareness of the web when you're making your choices. Let it inform your decisions. And if you do this, you are seeing the big picture and your relationship to the whole. When your effects are positive ones, you are on your way to the practice of compassion. You are ever evolving, which means that who you were yesterday is not the person you are today. We are not only impermanent in body, but also in personality and spirit, because we have this amazing capacity for change. And don't forget that the one you fall in love with is an evolving being as well. How well you can adapt to change will determine the quality of your relationship. Now, the 4 years you've spent at this high school will hopefully prepare you with the tools needed to evolve and survive out there beyond this campus. You know, I see you eager to go and to explore, and I've heard many of you say to me, "I can't wait, I am so ready." I remember that feeling too. But being the romantic that I am reminded of the importance of the past by the words of William Wordsworth, yes, in a poem. He wrote, "Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower, we will grieve not, but rather find strength in what remains behind." I have seen a lot of splendor and glory in what many of you have done here. You are all strong because of this, and you can do well out there. So, I want you to keep evolving. Open yourself to the experience. Consider the inconceivable. Make your choices with awareness. I am graduating with you too, graduates. I'm both scared and excited, just like you. All of us are on this journey of change. And I want to end here now with a quote from Anonymous. Now, I love Anonymous because, well, it's the collected wisdom of ordinary people like you and me. So, Anonymous, work as if you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt. And dance, hit it, Sean. I want... Oh, there's one more line from Anonymous. It says, "And dance like nobody's watching." Thank you.
The next young man I'd like to welcome to the stage has a tough act to follow. Joseph Gustin Tanto has been selected as a representative speaker. He's the son of Megan Smith and Dan Tanto of Seal Cove. His academic interests fall primarily in the social studies arena, particularly pre-American discovery. He's excelled in all manner of extracurriculars, including show choir, student council, During his junior and senior years, he was the stage manager for the one-act play. Gus has shown great leadership as a senior class vice president. He plans to attend either Hudson University or the University of Maine in the fall. Come on up, Gus.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Haney, for that wonderful introduction. And you are correct, I do have a tough act to follow. I know that most of you here in the audience have had ample time to hear me talk in the last 4 years. For that reason, I'll try to keep this speech concise. Before I say anything, I want to thank a few people. We all have people who have helped us along the way here in high school, and I firmly believe that it is our responsibility to thank those people for their presence in our lives. I'd like to thank the custodians here at MDI High School, as well as the administrators. Thank you. They helped make the education we received here possible. I'd also like to thank Whitey and the chefs for keeping the standards of food here far above the norm. I'd like to thank the teachers here at MDI, because without them, this place would have been an empty husk. There's a few more. Most of all, I'd like to thank the students here at MDI, because it is the students that truly make a school what it is. And I think that it's fair to say that we made this place pretty amazing. I'd like to give a special thank you to one of our classmates in particular, Riley Heist, who has proved of the utmost value both as a student council president and a senior class officer. And lastly, I'd like to thank the parents here today. They gave us these fine individuals sitting before me. Without them, the morals, values, and genetic beauty simply wouldn't be here. I mean, really, this is an attractive graduating class. If we're gonna clap for anything, that should be it. Thank you. I thought of a lot of flowery things I could say to you today. I had a pretty long list of words. Fancy, not so fancy. I had some not too great jokes and some reassurance for you that you were all going really great places in life. I threw that speech away, incidentally, several days ago when I got a really, really awful sunburn. Some of you know, have heard about it. As many of you know, I'll be working on a lobstering boat this summer with my new boss and what I'd like to think of as my good friend, Ronnie Musetti. I've been out on, thank you. Fishing is a new experience to me, and I've been out on the water quite a bit in small crafts, but I have never really traveled in anything so large as a commercial fishing boat. Naturally, I wanted to get the hang of things before my actual job started, go out a few days, learn the ropes, if you will, and that awful pun is intended. So I got up for my first day. I was very excited. Woke up at 3 a.m., pretty impressive for this guy. Got dressed in sweats and brought my new gear with me. About an hour out on the water with Ronnie, I found out two very interesting facts. One, I get seasick on anything longer than 15 feet. Two, and more importantly, the boat I'm gonna be on all summer, definitely longer than 15 feet. I spent that first day feebly stuffing bait bags and more often than not trying to stay out of the way while dry heaving. That was a pretty big setback. What was I going to do? I mean, I had really enjoyed the times on the boat when I wasn't throwing up, but third man on a lobster boat, not exactly an ideal position for somebody who gets seasick. Obviously, I had to do something. I went on a rampage through the internet, and within about 5 hours or so, I had found a non-drowsy seasickness medication. So far, it's been working. I didn't expect adversity when I stepped onto that boat. I didn't imagine for a second that I'd have a problem, but I did. Adversity came, and it's always going to come. No matter what we're setting out to do in life, no matter what our plans are, there's only one guarantee. It's not gonna work out quite the way we planned it. Rolling with the punches, or in this instance, the waves, is gonna be a part of our journey, whether we like it or not. Challenges and adversity cannot be avoided. They have to be endured while we hang on and hopefully figure out what to do next. All right, so that was my first day. I returned home worn out, stressed out for the job that I'll add I gave my word I would do, and with a remaining headache from seasickness. By the end of that week, I had my meds in hand though. My second day came that Saturday. This one I was excited for. I woke up, got psyched. I trusted that my medication would work. I believed falsely that my great run-in with adversity was over, and I was gonna have a great day. But as some of our track stars here can tell you, once you've jumped your first hurdle, you're usually running headlong for your next one. After we loaded the traps for that day, Ronnie, being the phenomenal guy that he is, asked me if I wanted any sunscreen. Sunscreen? This guy? I'm Italian, dude, thank you. I turned that sunscreen down. As a result, I found it painful to put on a shirt for the next week. Someone tried to show me kindness. That, in and of itself, is truly profound. The world needs kindness, big and small. Be good to others, because that's the only way we can receive goodness in return. Kindness is something we must strive to give, even if that kindness seems as insignificant as sunscreen. We might not get offered a hand up very often, but when we do, it shouldn't be an issue of pride, because it's an issue of love. I urge you, take the sunscreen. Now, I've never worked the same summer job for 2 years in a row. I've enjoyed all my jobs, but what I realize now is that I've always been looking for something better. I've been looking for the next opportunity. There's no harm in staying with something you like. There's no harm in enjoying a job or being content where you are. But I urge you not to let fear of the unknown guide your decisions. I went to the local cliffs for the first time this year. Something else you should know about me. In addition to getting seasick and easily sunburnt, I'm kind of terrified of heights. I mean really terrified. I let my friends jump off that rock about 8, 9, 12 times before I attempted it. It was terrifying when I did. I stood on the edge of that rock. I looked down into the water. I knew I had to jump. After what felt like hours, I managed to make my feet leave the rock, and a terrifying second later, they found the water. If it's fear holding you back, then throw caution to the wind and take the plunge. I didn't feel happy when I jumped. I didn't feel a sense of accomplishment or pride. I felt scared. But it's often said that we will more often regret the things we avoid rather than the chances that we take, and I believe that. Oliver Wendell Holmes is famously quoted as saying, "Most people go to their grave with their music still in them." And I ask you not to let that happen. Let your music ring out. Declare your passion and your love to the world. Hold on to your tune, whatever it might be, and don't let fear be your volume control. I want to leave you with a few simple messages here today. I want to tell you that adversity will hit. It's going to hit hard, but don't worry, because you can take that hit. I want to tell you that kindness is the only thing that keeps this world breathing. And I want to tell you that when others offer kindness, it's not weakness to accept it, but rather the essence of humanity. And lastly, I want to tell you this. We're going to walk up to a lot of cliffs in our lives, and we're going to have a lot of inner voices telling us to turn back. Jump anyway. Congratulations, good luck, and thank you.
Thank you, Gus. With another hard act to follow, Jane Pappas has also been chosen to speak today. She's the daughter of Devon Pappas of Mount Desert and Steve Pappas of Barre, Vermont. She also lives with her stepfather, Ted Colchise. In pursuit of her scientific passions, she completed an internship at the MDI Biolab this year. Jane has been a member of the speech team, National Honor Society, jazz, and pep bands. Jane will attend the University of Maine in the fall to study marine sciences and biology. Let's welcome Jane Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Haney, for that lovely introduction, and thank you, Gus and Mr. Grieco, for making this very hard to take up the rear. But hi, everybody. I am truly honored to be speaking here to you today. Thank you to our families and our friends and our teachers for coming to celebrate with us. To my classmates, We made it! Woo! This far. This is definitely a time for not only reflection on the past, but also for looking to the future. We've all got dreams and plans and things that we can't wait to have happen. After today, we get to start making those things happen and making our dreams come true, and I can't wait to see what we all do. I know that we're all capable of so much. This is a time in between for all of us, a time for transition, and I know that we're all so excited to be moving on to the next chapter of our lives. In that vein, I've written something a little different from your traditional graduation speech for this occasion. This is a spoken word poem I've written for us, the class of 2014, called Roots and Wings. We grew up pebbles, planted by our parents at the foot of mountains on an island made of granite, and we called it home. The air was thick with salt and pine and the promise that we too would grow up to be mountains, or at least move them. We played in puddles left by changing tides and never once questioned whether the water would return. The love affair the ocean has with the shore is constant here, and there was never any need. When we got bigger, dizzied by circumstance and blinking in the sunlight, we climbed up the mountains where our roots had dug in, and we tried to make changes to the rhythm of the tides, and we were discouraged that one pebble cannot change the course of oceans. But this isn't about mountains. This is about the pebbles who were planted here, who grew up into people, solid as rocks. People with stories and pasts and early morning paintings across the brightening sky. We've all seen a few beginnings in our time. We've all witnessed a few mornings. This is about the wings we grew as we got older, and how we soared the skies looking like seagulls and laughing all the while. And our parents looked on and kept a hold on our trailing strings and tethered us to the ground like kites. It wasn't time for us to fly away just yet. This is about the time soon when we realize that while one pebble cannot change an entire ocean, the splash it makes in a tide pool will always cause ripples. And this is about those ripples becoming waves, and this is about us. This is about the doctors and the pharmacists and scientists and technicians and dancers and singers and teachers and artists and travelers and the beautiful, beautiful people I see before me, poised to leap out from our mountains, wings stretched wide, strings cut free. This is about the splashes we can make, the waves we will make, the change we all can cause, because there is no such thing as small change. This is about the responsibility we have to make small changes and keep making waves. This is about all the wrongs we can right and every day's change from dark into light, and this is about us. We've been throwing pebbles and making waves already. We've all been practicing. We're finally ready. And this is about the ocean. It's been making waves for eons now, all on its own. But it has no idea what's about to hit it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. I'd like to welcome School Board Chairman Charlie Ray to the podium for the presentation of the diplomas.
You want to come over on this side? On this side. I'm going to do 10. Oh. Should do 10. What if you want me to stand on this side? Try not to. share?
Letha A.C.M. Tracy. Kirsten Marie Richards. Jessica Eden Fox. Hannah Mae Murphy. Shelby E. Sullivan. Lily Lichtenstein. Abby Kate Pettigrew. Lindsay Olivia Pettigrew. Mallory Young. Hannah W. Shaw. Lorelei Page Wayfritz. Lucy Elizabeth Suchek.
Congratulations, Lucy. Great job.
Christopher Matthew Heel. Ian Warner. Boomer Carroll. Brandon Kevin Couture. Gustavo Dendanto. Jacob Matthew Frankel. Dominic Frangelo. Nicole Pettigrew. Dylan Patton. Todd A. Daly. Kyle Freiner Clark. Samuel Charles Reeves. Riley Olivia Clement Heist. Denise Lykovich. Evelyn Elizabeth Swan. Abigail Dangler. Ellie Mason. Maggie Violet Painter. Audrey Lynn Beal. Josette April McEnroe. Alexis Dowsland. Paige Klowski. Maria Burdette. Caitlin Schroeder. Darren Miller. Jesse Alley. Aaron Jewett. Kieran Rush. Ryan Snow. Adam Ranko. Jacob Norton. Matthew Michael Havey. Sean Joseph Bollier. Ryan Thomas Cox. Jacob William Briggs. Tom Bully. Kathleen Murphy. Kimberly Ray Banks. Mia Catherine Janot. Samantha Nicole Luck. Caroline Rose Homer. Nellie Scott Laval. Lillian Strouch. Morgan Thurston. Ebony Hall. Sierra Bloom. Deandra Konu. Jordan Sam Harper. Jason Charles Norwood. Aiden Higgins. Sam Walker. Dakota Stewart. Dylan Richardson. Ryan Daniel Littlefield. Tegan Candage. Ronald Musetti. Nicholas Woodard. William Richard. Coleman Fernald. Nathaniel Snow. Molly Ann Moon. Ashley M. Cummings. Megan Rose Catanese. Kylie Tozier. Mia Judith Clark. Wilds Green Ho. Isabel Erickson. Emma Catherine Suchek. Madison Collins Giuliano. Abigail Elizabeth Jones. Shelby Lynn O'Neill. Sierra Sunshine Myrick. Stephen Hanscom. Chapin McFarland. Jonathan S. Phelps. Jason McMillan. Seamus O'Brien. Abraham Philbrook. Spencer Forrest. Malcolm Wade Clow III. Andrew Davis. Kyle Thomas Orr. Ransom Burgess. Olivia Erickson. Rebecca Planchard. Hannah Ann Shaw. Jane Pappas. Brooke Marshall. Eleanor Patricia Park. Bridget Elizabeth Parody. Madeline L. Cook. Ashanti Linny Petaway. William Copeland Pierce. Josiah Welsh. Luke T. Krebs. Andy Gallup. Family, friends, community members, the class of 2014.